enjoy working with him.
CJ is obviously taking the brunt of the criticism over the past few hours, but given how he played earlier in the season and then the playoff run, like the totality of it, how do you assess how he did?
Yeah, look, the quarterback position is going to get, the most eyes, most attention. We understand that, and in this league, that's what it is, and CJ understands that as well. I thought just throughout the season, I thought he did a really nice job of coming in, learning new offense, new scheme. Thought he picked it up well. We got better as the season went along, and he made some plays to allow us to win a lot of football games as well. So I'm not gonna let the bad plays there in that game, really for me dictate to me who CJ is. I know who CJ is. I know what he's capable of doing, and so we just keep looking to get better. No one feels worse about the situation than CJ, right? He feels bad, for the team, or feel like he let the team down, and I just told him, you keep your head up and you keep moving forward. Look, we all want it better. We can't go back in that game right now and run it back and play it again. Like, we just learn from it. Like, what do you learn from it? That's my main message to him, is what do you learn from that, and how do you make that a priority and getting it fixed and improving and getting better.
Nico, what message do you will you, I don't know if you met with him, what will you give CJ on areas that you as the head coach want to see improvement in his position?
Yeah, I talked with CJ too. I talked with CJ today, and my message is the same. Right now, it's just about him just flushing this one. Right, it's going to be a lot of negative talk, a lot of attention on him. Can't listen to it all. Right? He just got to get back to work in the off season of going back to the basics, the fundamentals of playing the quarterback position, playing it really well, understanding how we need to play the game to win the game, right? And he understands that already.
How would you assess offensively, just the production on that side of the ball all year? Do you think they've reached the potential that they wanted to this
I
season?
think our offense grew. It didn't start how we wanted it to start. So I think the guys got better as the season went along.
You often talk about how difficult it is to win in this league, and how every year is its new year. What do you say to the guys who, are so close, like especially the young ones, and put so much into it, and you're like, you kind of start over next year? What do you say to them that's encouraging?
Yeah, for the young guys, especially our rookies, I thought all of our rookies contributed a lot to our season. They stepped up, and did some really nice things for us. And I tell those guys you don't have long to rest. Like, you have to get back to, really training your bodies throughout the offseason. That's where I've always seen the growth from year one to year two if guys attack the offseason the right way, especially the winter offseason program. Guys that attack that the right way, they really set themselves up to have a really great second year. So I'm just encouraging our guys to do that, be all in on getting that, that personal training, very position-specific training that they need to improve their game.
Defense. What do you tell the defense?
What I tell the defense?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I thought the defense did a great job throughout the year. But also, as we look at that game, there are some plays that the defense, like, we shouldn't give up in that game. So I think, from when you go back and watch the game, I know they feel this too. It was some plays in that game that we should have made. Their guys made the plays, and we didn't make the plays. So that's what the game ultimately came down to, right? Their best players stepped up in that moment. They made plays. So I'll tell our guys, like, you talk about being the best doesn't win you anything. Talking about it, you got to show up and you got to do it. You got to make the plays in the moment. That's what being the best looks like. And we didn't make those plays we needed to make in the moment.
Nico, I know it's still very soon after the game. In your estimation, is there a common thread for CJ's turnovers, both in this game and from Pittsburgh as well?
I think each one was a little different. I think sometimes you just got to learn if the play is not there, right? Now, CJ knows that. He's trying to make a play. Play is not there. Sometimes you just got to dirt it. Sometimes you got to take a sack, even though you don't want to do that as a quarterback. It's just that's where the growth level comes.
D'Amico, big picture with CJ. You guys have him under rookie deal. You can do the fifth-year extension. How much do you guys want to make him your long-term quarterback, and does that need to happen this offseason, or could you wait?
Yeah, we're not getting into that right now.
Coach, third year in a row that you all went into this divisional game with not being healthy, and the war of attrition catches up to you all. I know that you all speak about this next man mentality, but what is the difficulty in finding somebody to be able to come in and replace a Nico Collins or replace a Dalton Schultz? How do you evaluate and keep that same talent level to the position where it's supposed to be?
Yeah, you don't. You don't replace a Nico Collins. You don't replace a Dalton Schultz. When you lose your top guys, as any team in this league, when you lose your top guys, it's going to be difficult. I think you guys see the Niners kind of went through something similar too. Like it catches up with you, right? The best teams are gonna advance, and the best team is gonna win the Super Bowl, right? And you need your top guys out there. You need your top playmakers out there. And we definitely miss Nico not being out there. Dalton, he made the huge explosive when CJ was able to scramble on a third down and find Dalton on their sideline. Made a huge play for us, caught another one there, almost got in the end zone. So, we definitely miss Dalton and we miss Nico, right? They've been two of our most productive players all year. So in that moment, you look for other guys to step up and make plays, for sure. But we miss those guys.
You made the tough decision to move on from Bobby and make Nick OC. Are you confident in Nick getting better, and will he have that opportunity?
Yeah, with the coaching staff, with our players, you guys asking about contracts, coaches, I'm evaluating everything as we go throughout the week.
You all kind of unexpectedly in the spring didn't have Joe Mixon. How much did kind of not having him maybe kind of hurt the offense, particularly at the beginning?
Look, when you have your best players, you're gonna be a better team. Like Joe was he's a really great running back for us, and not having him, yes, of course it affected our running game. And Joe is one of the top running backs in this league, so that affected us.
Can I ask a follow-up question real fast?
You wait before you kind of evaluate this season. You kind of take stock of what's happened and then start to make decisions about what needs to happen to keep moving forward.
Yeah, well, I'll take the week to evaluate everything. Go ahead, man.
Just on that, do you expect a future with Joe here?
As of right now, I don't know that answer right now.
Take a few more.
With the offensive line, that's something that Shaw worked on in the offseason, kind of remade it in a lot of ways. How would you assess the offensive line overall from start to finish?
I thought the offensive line did a really nice job, and they, I didn't think they get enough credit for the job that they did. Like for the offensive line we were able to put together, everybody, a lot of people probably gave us slack for the moves that we made with our offensive line, and they played much better this year than we did last year. They got better. Coach Cole did a really nice job with the offensive line. The technique was better. They improved a ton, and they should get a lot of credit for that.
On that Joe Mixon topic, do you have any clarity on what is wrong with him and what it would take this offseason?
No clarity.
What about
Nico, as you put
what
a
about his
period
health?
behind this season now, intuitively, what are you going to introspectively go back and look at?
For myself, I just go back and for myself, I'm just looking at making sure, I'm in a great position, great headspace to continue to lead this team in the right way, the messaging, everything to make sure I'm effective with what I'm doing, right? We're reaching the guys. That's the main thing for myself. And I think any leader, you want to make sure you're leading in the right way. And that's how are people responding? Are you getting the message across? Is it showing up, and are you getting it done?
As you evaluate the team and you go through it, you assess all the different elements that you want to assess. How much does what change could look like for any given position or role versus what it would look like versus a guy improving? How much do you weigh into that as you kind of assess the future of various parts of the organization?
Tough question right there. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Like when you're looking at the people that you work with and how can they improve, you just go off of the track record and see, has there been growth? throughout the past, and you see if you want to continue down that track or not. Sometimes, unfortunately in this league, change happens, especially at this point of the year. We see it all around. Change happens, and everybody knows that. Every time I stand up here, I always say it's a year-to-year league for me. It's not just because we've done it one way this past year that everybody's going to be the same next year going into it. That's never the league, and I never stand here and act like that is the league. We're always looking to improve. We're always looking to grow and get better, whether that's, with our personnel, with our coaching, with everything involved, our process and what we're doing. That's how we take time to evaluate that to see how can we take a next step forward.
Do you have an update on how Tank Del's process is going with his recovery and how he can factor into this receiving group next year?
Yeah, Tank has done a really good job with his recovery throughout the entire offseason. It's very tough when Tank has such a significant injury, right? And he was battling, trying to get back. He was working really hard to try to get back, at the end of this past season. It just didn't work out that way. But he's showed up every day with a smile, with a great attitude, and I'm excited to see him back on the field next year.
Coach, as CJ gets ready to go into this offseason, and it's his third season here, he's still a fairly young quarterback, but we live in a social media era, and there's a lot of times he's going to hear different types of stuff. What is the message that you will have for him throughout the offseason? When they're still going to be putting a lot of blame on him losing this last game.
I just told him, don't listen to anything. Go put your phone away. Don't listen to anything. It's going to be a lot of negative talk out there for you. So specifically, I just told him he needs to get away, clear his mind. Because right now, at this moment, I know it's going to be a lot of attention on him, a lot of negative media, and today a lot of questions about him. That's what it is, and he understands that. Understand the position that he is in. As a quarterback leading the team, a lot is expected of you. A lot of eyes are on you. So when it doesn't go right, it's going to be a lot of negative talk about you. So he understands that, and he just can't allow the opinions of others to weigh who he really is inside.
You guys did feel like it was an improved season, even though it ended at the same spot. What do you hope that this team can learn from how this season went?
The thing I hope our guys learn is that whenever you're playing the game, it goes down to executing football. We can make all these stories about this and that and this person, that person. To me, I hope everybody understands that the reason why you lose the game is if you don't execute in the moment. If you don't do your job, if you're not where you're supposed to be, if you don't make great decisions, if you don't protect the football, that's not going to win you football games. And we can make it a biggest story about any given person, but you got to do the things necessary to win games. And that's what I hope our guys truly have learned throughout this, no matter who you're playing, when you're playing, where you're playing, what the conditions are. You got to play winning football. That's execution. That's being on the details, and that's finishing the game the right way. That's truly all that matters. If we do those things the right way, and look, we still had an opportunity there to get back in the game and win the game. It wasn't so far reach. We just didn't do all the things we needed to do collectively from everybody to win the game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
Do Saturday on Wednesday morning. Send y'all back here Wednesday morning for cereal.
Okay.